What's going on? It is the one HODLs. We are back. It's Tuesday, man. Another day to grind, another day to work, to be able to transfer your energy, your skills, what it is that you do into scarce, desirable asset, into the hardest asset that's been created or that's been discovered, and that is Bitcoin. So if you're stacking, do it responsibly. Do it with a peer-to-peer decentralized exchange such as HODL, where there's no KYC and you're able to sign up with just the email address and your password. Check out the link down below for HODL. Also, if you're looking to store your Bitcoin in a cold wallet, look at the Cold Card wallet. That's in the CoinKite.com store down below. Cold Card is open source, Bitcoin only wallet for the absolute scarcity that has been discovered in the world, which is Bitcoin. I want to shout out British HODL. He had a great video that I checked out. He's been making some consistently pretty good content, and he mentioned the idea of absolute scarcity and how important that is when it comes to creating generational wealth. And generational wealth is something that you want to pass down to your kids. There was a quote he said was, the decisions that we do today determines the decisions that our children will do 20 and 30 years from now. And if you're not doing everything you can to accumulate as much of a absolute scarce asset that Bitcoin is, that solves the problem of a centralized monetary system that pretty much has created debt that's engulfing the world and that's being used actually to take down human society, you want something that's a little more, I guess you could say, determinable, something that's more, you want your monetary policy to be something that you don't have to guess what's going to happen next. You don't have to guess if there's going to be inflation or there's going to be deflation and all this. We know that every 10 minutes there's going to be 6.15, I believe it is, or 125 Bitcoin mined out every 10 minutes, like clockwork. It could vary, but on average is every 10 minutes. And by April coming up next year, it was going to be cut in half. And so we need to think about our future children when it comes something to pass down, something that's equivalent to owning property early on in the early days of a metropolitan city in the world. Think of the 1600s, 1700s of Manhattan, Mexico City, Tokyo, Paris. Okay, think like that. A nice chateau, a building with a nice chateau back in the 1700s, where you could get it for probably the equivalent today of like $20, maybe $100 or something. So why is this idea even a thing? Because the Bitcoin network is very secure. It's actually so secure that it would take so much energy that it would be unfathomable to interrupt or to compromise the network. And at the same time, on that network, there is property. There is scarce property on that network that's native to it. So now you have a very valuable network, right? Because of its level of security, because of its monetary policy, because of things can actually be built on that network on top of that layer, that foundational network layer, that now you have a native property on there that is only 21 million, absolute scarcity, that you want to think of that as something as a big deal to own and to be in a position to pass that down to your children. He mentioned, I'm going back to that, man, because that was a very profound quote. He mentioned specifically, British HODL, that the decision he does today, or that we do today, determine the decisions of our children in the next 20 to 30 years. And that decision should be at this opportunity to try to acquire as much of that property as possible in Bitcoin, because of its scarcity, because of how hard it is, because of the problem that it solves. And fiat currencies around the world. So think about it like that. Think about it deeper, right? Think about how much financial assets globally there is in the world, and what Bitcoin has yet to soak up. So even if it soaks up a fraction of 1% of that, of all the global assets, of all the fiat money that's printed and going to global assets, if people say, hey, you know what, I got if big institutions, big money managers say, you know what, we're filled up on real estate. Real estate is fine, but real estate is only going up in nominal terms, going down, but going down against Bitcoin in Bitcoin terms. You know, these 20,000 different cryptocurrencies, they can continue to be created in perpetuity. You know, let alone the fact that their central issuer can likely create more of that token. You'll find that the value of that cryptocurrency or that altcoin will actually go down in Bitcoin terms as well, because of absolute scarcity on a secure network. You get what I'm saying? I think people don't really see how big and how important the Bitcoin network is. And this is why they say don't touch the Bitcoin network, don't touch the layer 1 network, because you don't want to compromise the security in any form or fashion. This is why they say build on top of it, build a second layer for the Lightning Network, where you can still move the property that's native on this valuable network, this scarce, absolute scarce property. You can move that at the speed, at almost instant payment, through a decentralized, relatively decentralized, becoming more decentralized as more nodes join that network, smart contract such as the Lightning Network. Okay? So people are not really seeing this the way I think they ought to be seeing it, and they're seeing it with a myopic lens, because they think that if they get into a small cap shitcoin that is going to go up 20x, and they'll be able to sell just in time their little $1,000 that they got in there. So this is what we got today, guys. I just wanted to share that. Shout out to British HODL. Shout out to you guys who are out there thinking about your children, thinking about your future, thinking about what this world is going to be like in the next 5 to 10 years. All right, I'm out of here. Under 10 minutes. Till next time.